I'm really enjoying these walks with you guys. I realized that I never actually formally did a sort of update on where I'm at. I know you're dying to know, but also for me, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this, that I wanted to just document my own, I want to say journey. I feel like I should pick a different word. My odyssey, which I'm still unsure about going to see that movie. By the way, my walk is being joined by Poe. I'm not sure where he is in there. Is that him? Poe? Are you over here? Oh, there you go. He's right there, that little munchkin. He likes clinging to the side, but... So yeah, I like taking Poe with me on walks because we have this nice little backpack for him, nice and roomy. So the updates. And this is actually part of the reason why I haven't even posted any videos for damn near a year until recently. In addition to the fact that I have filmed continuously, I have filmed quite a bit actually, and majority of the time it never makes it past the editing stage because I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, nobody cares, this is crap, like the self-doubts, the judgment and everything tends to rear its ugly head. But additionally also it was a time thing, and I think that's what played into the fact that like I really had to make sure that this was going to be easy for me to do, minimal to no editing due to time. But the time thing, right? What was I so busy with? In addition to the fact that I'm a tattoo artist and I am also training apprentices. So being a trainer and being a tattoo artist, basically I'm working two jobs. And I am always going to be an artist in general, and I have no intention of stopping being a tattoo artist anytime soon. I also felt like I've been a little bit burnt out in that area because, you know, I'm getting requests for things that are quite simple. I have no problem doing these things. I've never been one of those tattoo artists who's like, oh, another lettering piece, meh, I'm gonna ditch that project, I'm gonna do something cooler. I want to do cooler work, don't get me wrong. I actually want to be able to step away enough, have a little bit more time to develop my skills more, develop my artwork more that can be tattooable, develop my style more, basically. Which is hard when you're busy working, and especially it's hard when you're busy working, your time is being taken up doing projects that maybe don't excite you, let's be honest. I'm not at that point right now where all I'm ever doing are projects that really, really super excite me, right? Because it is my livelihood. So just trying to find that balance of being able to serve clients with what it is that they want, and you know, obviously executing those to the point of excellence. I always make sure I do that, even if it's not something I'm passionate about. But being able to do that, and at the same time having the time to build up my style, do work that excites me. And I do get projects that really are super fun to do, that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the highlight of my year. You know, I do get those. Just I would like to get that more. And so being able to step away from that long enough to do that. So yeah, not filming that maybe is a mistake on my part. It's probably a good idea to film more of that aspect of it. And by developing my style, I really do mean going back to the basics, going back to the other traditional media and doing more paintings, doing more drawings, learning more styles, pulling it all together, sprinkling a little ruby flavor on them, you know. And that's how I can develop a style as an artist, which then can help me determine what styles I really enjoy and can create more work with tattooing wise. I probably should just document that part of it. I feel like, again, I get really critical about it because I don't have a process that isn't sloppy. So it's not as aesthetic, and so I think I hold myself back because I judge how not like super clean and perfect it is. But at the same time, especially in the light of AI where everything is so perfect it's sterile, maybe people would like to see the messy middle. You know, they would like to see when things look gross and horrible and you have to scrap it, toss it, do another go, right? The failures. So perhaps I should lean into that more, but that was what was holding me back. And then additionally, somewhere in the past year at least, it's actually been a little bit more than that if I'm super honest with myself, I was definitely, I try to keep in touch with the current events, and I was starting to get really, really stir crazy, not being able to do much in my current capacity about the social injustices that are happening out in the world. And it especially lights me up negatively, in a bad way, when I see these videos of patients that look like me, patients with darker skin tone than me, my people, my fellow brown people, we can say, because that includes everybody who isn't white. But when I see how they're treated in healthcare, when I see how women are still treated in healthcare, and I'm a tattoo artist, I can't do anything about that. At least when I'm working with them, I make it a point to make sure my clients feel safe with me at all times and don't feel judged and don't feel gaslit. If they say they're not comfortable, that they're in pain or that they're anxious, I don't ignore that. I don't force them to push past that or anything like that. I work through it with them, you know what I mean? So for me to see that happening in healthcare, where I'm pretty sure that's the standard, because you're facilitating someone's healing, you're facilitating someone's wellness, and you're being a cold-hearted bitch to these patients, really, that really lights me up, you know. And I've had experience working in healthcare, but in a department that was removed from that. And I think that you know, again, honesty time, I think that contributed to my burnout in pharmacy. Oi, puppy, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful. There's your puppy. That's a big puppy. I wonder what he would think if he saw my dog. Big black poodle, meet little Bichon, little white Bichon. But yeah, so having spent time in pharmacy, I know that I was like, oh my God, I could be doing so much more. I wanted to be in front of patients. I wanted to be part of that. And for a temporary time, as I was trying to find a way out of working in pharmacy, one of the areas that I'd considered was nursing. And I even took the TEAS exam that they take, and I scored like 95 percentile, which I was like, oh, okay. But then of course my colleagues at that time that I ran into at the hospital, I was telling them about, like, oh, I might become a nurse. They were like, don't do it. Don't do it if you're not passionate about it. And that definitely like held me back, because I was like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this. And so I held back, but that never really left. And I think especially because of the lack of safety there still seems to be for patients in certain settings. And when I say that, you know, I'm especially feeling for my fellow brownies, I mean any woman, regardless of color, any patient from a marginalized community, because they do end up getting disadvantaged. I'm just saying anybody who has a disadvantage, anybody who's being mistreated as a patient, like, that's not okay. And I just wanted to be part of the solution, you know, so that's why I ended up I'm kind of hesitant to even say it, because I'm like, what if I jinx myself by putting this out there? But I mean, I'm kind of already going in that direction right now. And again, I'm going to emphasize this once again, I am not abandoning being an artist either. This is me being multi-passionate. That's what this is about. And then just sort of, you know, art is my passion, and it is also my purpose, but then so is being in healthcare for the reasons that I have, you know. And especially because of how I behave as a tattoo artist, I feel like that would lend itself really well in a healthcare setting. Now that I've been able to remove myself from pharmacy long enough to take full stock of what my values are, what's important to me, what my interests genuinely are in terms of healthcare, it seemed like, okay, I needed that space. And seeing how I behave as a tattoo artist, that gave me the clarity that I do care about taking care of people, being a part of their healing, you know? And so, yeah, I spent this last several months. When did I start? January or something? But, yeah, I spent quite a bit of time learning how to be a medical assistant. Because it's the first step to me becoming a physician's assistant, which I've decided I'm going to pursue. And yeah, so I am re-entering healthcare basically. Now at a capacity where I'm directly involved with patient care. I am working with PAs and a DO at the moment. At the end of my program that I took for this, I did really well. I'll just say it that way. They prepared me really well for the certification exam for medical assistants. I scored, and I think even I'm surprised by my score. I did really, really well. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. I'll say that I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what I scored. On top of the fact that, I was very well prepared to take this exam. Even if I hit the minimum score, I would have been happy because, yes, I'm certified. But the fact that I got the score that I did, which I think was 436, which is great. But yeah, I was well prepared for that. I was also assisted in getting my externship afterwards so I can get my practical experience at a general medicine clinic, which is great because they work with different groups of patients, different demographics, and so you get a little bit of everything. And as interested as I am eventually in working with women's health, I can't even specifically say that I have a particular specialty or a particular area of medicine that I want to focus on yet. Time will tell. But I was like, oh, this general medicine setting is perfect for me to find out what I'm especially interested in. I also just like the variety of working with different patients throughout the day. Every given day is different, and it's one of the reasons why I love tattooing, because you're not working with in the same exact way all the time. And most recently, I've already completed my externship as of now, and they offered me a position, which from what I hear is it's not a common thing to be at an externship site and that externship site offers you a job. So I feel pretty special about it, honestly. I will say too, this other thing, it's very interesting that when I decided to do this, for those of you who are about manifestation, that when I decided to do this, everything just seemed to flow so easily. Everything just it was almost like potential obstacles just seemed to clear the way. Any challenges I had were easy for me to overcome. And the path to this point was it was not painful at all. And yet I hear all the time other people in the same position as me struggling to find an externship, struggling to get a job after completing their program. And yet for me it was like, oh, yeah, you just gotta get this and this and this done. Oh yeah, this challenging area that you need to study for to take the exam. This is like, I was inspired to look into this, and I found the perfect resources to prepare me well for this and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it just, I felt challenged, but I never felt like there was resistance up against me doing this, basically. It didn't feel so hard, like I was going up against a brick wall. So it was like, as soon as I made this decision, everything opened up, all the opportunities opened up in front of me with ease, with like a flow that I just could not ignore. So that really reinforced that I'm, you know, definitely on the right path. And I have not felt yet that I can tell, like I'm also at the same time, you know, being pushed in that direction, but also being pushed away from being an artist. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you were meant to do both things, is how I'm taking that, you know? And then also this, suddenly I have an easier time doing this right now. I wonder if this is just kind of me shifting into who I want to be, who I'm maybe meant to be, a version of myself that gets to do all the things, honors all of her multiple passions, and lives them out in a way with a schedule that works perfectly, working you know, in these different areas, because it brings me fulfillment without burning myself out, and still enjoying a work-life balance, still having a good social life. You know, that's still a work in progress, but I don't know, it was just something about the way this unfolded for me, where now I am, and that conversation did just happen, now I'm working part-time for this place that took me in as an extern. So now I have a job. Now I have a third job, basically. And because none of these particular jobs that I have are full-time, there's the flexibility. Even the clinic is flexible about my hours, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. But it also just seems like, oh my gosh, they really wanted me. They want me here. So they're cool with me being here part-time, you know? And I can't imagine too many other places being so flexible with me, and so kind, you know, and so welcoming. So yeah, and I know for me, doing each of these on a part-time basis, it doesn't speak at all to my lack of passion, lack of interest. I think what it is it's speaking more to my passion for these things, because I also know my limits. And by doing these 3 in a part-time manner, where I have flexibility in my scheduling and everything, I know for me, that means I am optimized. That means I'm getting enough rest or time away from them to come back fresh every time, and not getting burned out, not getting run into the ground, because I'm really over this grind or hustle mentality that, oh, if you're not doing this full time, if you're not living, breathing this thing, then you don't care enough, that it's not your passion. Well, if my passion is in multiple things, this is more what that's going to look like, because not only am I'm committing to these things at the, you know, the level that I am, I'm doing it with full energy when I'm doing these things. You know what I mean? As opposed to like sacrificing my body, my health, my energy, my power. You know what I mean? Sacrificing any of that for the sake of, you know, putting my nose to the grindstone, or whatever that expression is. You know, I feel like that's not it. And I feel really good in my soul about like this balance, being able to do these 3 things for now. And you know, so here's the thing, the passion part of this speaks more specifically to my being an artist. So being a tattoo artist, being a creative, painting, drawing, developing my skills as an artist, continuing to evolve as an artist, the content creation thing, right? Because this was also something that I just kept being nagged about over and over again. When are you gonna do this? Like, it was just the calling that I kept ignoring. And now I feel that, you know, what's interesting is like whatever stalling I kind of felt was happening with me creatively, this is yet another reinforcement of me coming back to healthcare. Is like, after I had started my externship and I was now spending time in the clinic, I was coming home more energized and motivated and inspired than ever to sit down and paint and draw and approach my appointments with a little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more passion, and just an invigorated mind. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's necessarily because I've started something new. I think it's because I've done something that is now fulfilling a part of me. Like it's satisfying a part of me that felt that call to my purpose in healthcare. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I just wanted to like update about what things have been like for me. And certainly getting my education, getting my certification as a medical assistant is one of the reasons why I was definitely not posting as well, because I was just so busy doing that. And so now that things have quieted down there, and now that I have that job, basically I'm going to be onboarded in a couple days, I just wanted to like throw in that update and then just say, like, this channel, I intend for it to be for multi-passionate people. You could be creative or not, whatever it is, but for those of you who are passionate in multiple things, something like this, it could look like that for you. You know, like maybe that's what it is. Maybe you had that experience of being told like, oh, you have to commit to something full time for you to actually be passionate about it or whatever. But for those of us that are multi-passionate, we have a different view of that. We have different needs to be able to pursue the multiple passions. It's about like finding that balance and just knowing how to handle your seasons and all that good stuff, you know. And I'm still learning how to do that too. But I gotta say, if I hadn't listened to that call to come back to healthcare and gone down this path, would I have experienced what I have so far? And look at how it's not making me abandon being an artist. It's actually elevating my performance. It's actually reinvigorated my passion in it, even though they're not related. So think about that, what that means. It means I'm honoring my multi-passionate tendency, you know? So I hope that this can give you some reassurance, if you're a multi-passionate person, to think about how you can make that space for the things that you're interested in a way that's sustainable, so that you can continue to fulfill that, you know? Because, oh my gosh, it just feels so good. And you know when things feel good, like everything seems really, really good. Air smells sweeter, the breeze feels cooler, the sun is sunnier, colors are more vibrant. Like, it sounds a little goofy, but like it's real. When you're feeling really elevated because of that, when you're feeling like lit because of it. And I'm saying this after just working, oh my gosh, what was it, like 9 hours? I think I just did a 9-hour shift at the clinic today. And I'm just getting my walk in now because I had such an early start in the day. I'm exhausted. And I'm probably going to need to recharge, which is why I'm glad that the days that I'm working at the clinic are spaced out for me to recharge, so I can come back the next day energized, because I get to do that. But I'm saying this after just doing that. I'm tired, you know? And yet I'm feeling really good right now. I feel really like I felt it was necessary to talk about this. That's saying something, you know? So anyway, now I'm going to rest. But I just had to share what's up. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your story is. If you've had experiences like that where it's like, okay, I decided to do this one thing and like it just seemed like the world opened up for me all of a sudden. You know what I mean? I'm dying to hear it because it's so fun. Like it's really, and I want other people to know how possible that is, what that feels like, you know, so that way they're also paying attention when it happens to them, when it happens, you know? Anyway, I'm out of here. Poe is over this because I'm not even talking to him, so we're gonna go. Bye-bye.